Hello, everyone, and welcome to Immigration Live with Lee. I'm your host, Lee Marvin, and today is Monday, July 29th, 2024. So, welcome to this week's call, this show where I answer immigration questions and give you updates about the goings on, things that are happening in immigration, and just a smidge of politics if it's applicable to the situation, which it usually is, okay? So, welcome everyone. I always start out this session by welcoming our friends from Instagram, from YouTube, from Facebook, and I always ask people to please post in the comments your questions, of course, but also post in the comment section where you're joining us from. So, city, state, country, where you're joining us from. Okay, so I like to give a shout out to people when they indicate where they're joining us from. So again, Monday, July 29th. Okay, so there's a lot going on, as there always is, especially in during election cycles. Okay, so the heading of this program for this week is "Take advantage of opportunities now" with an exclamation mark. I can't stress that enough. During election cycles, things get goofy, right? We've already seen a ton of goofiness, but things get goofy not just politically, but with immigration, with opportunities and processes. So I always tell people during the election times, whether it's midterm elections or a big election like this, where we're going to elect a new president, people need to file for naturalization if they have the right to do so. So if you've gone through all the steps and you are eligible for citizenship, you better do it. My recommendation is to absolutely do it so you don't miss an opportunity. So maybe you can vote. That'd be amazing, right? But more than that, so you don't necessarily lose your status, okay? So always file for naturalization when you have the opportunity, especially during an election year like this year. This year, as we know, it's already been weird. I mean, we've had an assassination attempt, and we've had a president who had mental issues that dropped out of the race because he wasn't able to move forward with the demands. And I'm not criticizing the guy. I'm saying that there's a lot of demands on a president, and if you're not 100% in the driver's seat, then you better step aside so somebody else can get in the driver's seat, okay? So that's what's going on this year. So lots of stuff going on, and when things are uncertain, what do? Do things that make you certain, like your immigration status. So naturalization, other big things. This amazing things that Biden did, okay, that he's released this program that's going to start on August 19th, okay? August 19th is this pro in place for the spouses and children of U.S. citizens, okay? He had the foresight to do this, thankfully, months ago, and it's in process, and it's going to happen. And I'm telling people, you need to file for this because I don't think it's going to last past Biden's presidency. Maybe it will, but don't take a chance and don't risk your family and your situation if it's not going to last. So you file for it, okay? So again, I just want to do a shout out for anyone who's indicated where they're joining us from today. Let's see. Morocco, how you doing in Morocco? You did B1, B2 visa. Okay, that's awesome. Congratulations to you. And greetings from Morocco. Thank you for joining us from Morocco. Okay. So let me look at some of these questions there. I think that Red Segma may have been kind of asking a question there. If there is a question there, please type it below so I can answer it, okay? Let me go down to this next question. How long does FOIA documents usually take? Too long, okay? This administration had many problems with records requests and how they process requests, how long it took, and whether they actually got records for people when they requested them. Even me, I didn't have a ton of success with getting this administration to get me my records, okay? So it's unknown how long it takes. It's supposed to be a very quick and easy thing that takes a few weeks, maybe a month. It used to take months and months and months. So it is much, much better, but it's unknown, okay? So FOIA documents, it's kind of a hit or miss with that, okay? So okay, let's see here. I'm trying to bring my wife, and I got proof of everything, but it's taking forever. Join the club, man. I hear you. It's been that way for a while, and yes, it is taking forever again, okay? What is the best thing to do? If you've already filed and you're waiting for immigration to do their thing, you got to let them do their thing, okay? If you've run into a problem, well, that's when you actually have options and you can move forward and you can try to do things, okay? If you're just waiting and it is taking forever, I don't know what that means, because forever for you might be fairly quick for immigration. So if it is taking forever, and my definition of forever would be, okay, so this is, again, there's not enough information in here for me to really know the full scope of what's going on. If it's just the first step in the process, so that's the I-130, the petition for an alien relative, if that's taking forever, okay, it can take typically up to a year, okay? If it's taking more than a year, then you might have to talk to me about what you do to speed it up. If you're in the next phase of the process, you're waiting for the visa interview, that's a totally different question, okay? So it really depends where you are in the process, okay? So what do you recommend when my father is waiting for his and he has only a year left? What do you recommend? Well, things are taking up to 4 years depending on the relationship, okay? So if we're talking about relationship between son and father, okay, or father and son, they're all different. And again, I say this every week. These questions come up every week, and I always tell people to check out my YouTube channel and do a search for processing times, because I have different videos for different types of processes that gives you a good idea of how these processes take, how long, and how you can find out the answer to how long it's going to take, okay? So that is usually the best idea, and you have your leisure to look through the stuff, to watch the video and see how it applies to you, okay? So always a good idea to do that. You've been waiting for 4 years, okay? So 503G money, waiting for 4 years. Once again, so again, 4 years is a very long time, but it depends. Okay, 1 second here. I'm reading other questions. Okay. So again, everything comes down to the relationship. Everything comes down to when you filed. Everything comes down to how you filed and whether you did the process yourself and whether you did it right or not, okay? There's every different aspect of this can lead to a very different process, okay? Very different timeframes and waiting periods, okay? So if it's been 4 years, that could mean that you're waiting 4 years for that petition to be able to move forward, okay? Because, for an example, legal permanent residents who sponsor their spouses have a long time compared to U.S. citizens, okay? So if you are a legal permanent resident and you're sponsoring your spouse, it usually does take 3 to 4, even 5 years for that waiting period. Check out my YouTube channel for the videos that I do about this to get more information about it, okay? Question Armand asks, can I expedite the case for my children under 21? Typically, yes, you can expedite. Again, there's a lot of potential. All these questions might seem very quick and easy to people who are asking them, but as a legal professional like myself, there's a lot of different things. The more I know, the more difficult immigration is. I know a lot more answers, but the thing is, it brings up more and more things that have an impact on the answer. So I don't like to just shout out an answer because I like to give accurate information. So what I'm saying is, yes, you can expedite cases. Yes, immigration has different processes for people to expedite, but a lot of it comes down to what the process is and the relationship and when you filed, okay? Let's see here. Okay. Okay, so, right, so Arman, your children are under the age of 21 and you're a green card holder. You can definitely do an expedited request for them. Mixed results depending on what embassy you're going to be dealing with, okay? But the answer is yes, you can, okay? Let me see here. Let's see. The reason we are waiting for those documents, it's our first step, and we need to know if he is on parole to see what his case will be, to see if after the 10-year they gave him for deportation, he'll be able to be sponsored by me. Okay. So this is a knob, okay? So whenever you have a deportation, clearly that creates all sorts of weird ripples. Typically speaking, if it's been longer than 10 years, if all your father got was a 10-year bar, then after that 10 years, you absolutely can sponsor him and you will be able to move forward fairly quickly after that 10-year period has expired, okay? Sometimes there's things that come up that create additional time. But typically speaking, you pay your penalty, you or your father pays the penalty, then you will be able to move forward. I've helped lots of clients with this, people that were gone for 10 years. In the 11th year, we filed all their stuff and they are legal residents now on their way to become citizens, okay? So yes, it is very possible to do that after the 10-year bar, okay? Next question. I made a petition for my brother back in 2001, 245I, but when he was crossing the border, he got caught 4 times, not good for immigration. And in 2 of them, he was told to say a different name. Can he apply for 4:8? I don't know what 4:8 is, but I do know that there are some significant problems with your brother's case. Multiple illegal entries means he probably has a permanent bar at this point in time, okay? Filing waivers for these things, you have the right to do that, but multiple illegal entries after multiple potential 20-year or permanent bars, it's an uphill battle and chances are not good, okay? So let me go. And again, I want to go over here because I want to make sure that I'm not forgetting people. There's a lot of really good questions tonight, very super duper technical questions, okay? And I always invite people. I mean, it's great to have nice answers on my answer show here, but it doesn't really answer everything you're going to need to know in order to move forward in an intelligent way. So I always invite people, let me do this. I always put the link in case you want to talk directly with me. I can't answer everything on such a quick program like this. So what I can do is provide links for you to reach out to me to get your questions answered in other ways, okay? So let me just post that real quick. Forgive me, I'm a little slow here. So that's the link. So 1 second here. So I strongly encourage you to reach out to me directly so I can get more information that I can't really get very well on the answer show that quickly. Okay. Let me go over to our friends on YouTube. A lot of great people on YouTube follow us and watch my videos. So thank you for that. Um, question here, Jamel. What about processing times? USCIS estimates 9 months. Okay. So it depends on what it is. So that is a statement. Yeah, you probably watched my video and you saw where you could find out what the processing times are. So processing times are all over the map depending on what your process is. Okay. So that is not unheard of. 9 months, depending on what the process is, that's not really a long time. I know it seems like it when you're waiting, but 9 months, depending on what the process is not really that long. Okay. Danny Wilson, hello, how you doing? It's been 200 days since immigration received my response for the RFE medical exam and you still haven't gotten a response. It's marriage-based green card. 200 days is ridiculous. Okay, Danny, I hate to tell you the thing that you feared. That is absolutely ridiculous. I will say that processing 200 days for immigration to respond to your response to a request for evidence, it depends on what they asked you for, okay? So a request for evidence can be very complicated or it can be straightforward. If it's complicated, they are going to take their time because they don't care, right? Their job is to process things and to process it in the way that their policy says they have to process it. They don't care how long it takes. But if it's taking that long, if it was a pretty typical request for evidence, you say here is just for a medical exam. That's outrageous, okay? If it was just for the medical exam, something is not right with this, Danny. I hate to tell you. Something is not right for a marriage-based green card. Request for evidence for a medical exam, that's not good. So you need to get on the horn with immigration and don't get off the phone until you get somebody to answer your question, because that's what, 365 days a year, 200 days. That's absolutely absurd. I'm not a mathematician, but that is way too long. Okay. So check it out, Danny. Rattle their cage and force them to give you an answer, because that's unacceptable. Okay. If you can't figure it out beyond that, you can click that link and get in touch with me and I can, help you figure it out. Okay. Let's go to VIP English RJ. Been waiting 28 months on my I-601 waiver filed with Nebraska. Then at the 26-month mark, the Rio de Janeiro consulate asked me for further paperwork on my convictions. I sent them, and it's in ADM. I'm assuming that's admin, okay? Administrative review. I've never seen that. I don't use the online portal because it's, in my opinion, useless. So that might be something that they tell you on your online portal, I'm assuming. So typically speaking, so here's the problem with waivers and moving forward with consular processing. If you don't do it the right way, meaning if you do it yourself, you don't know this, Rio is expecting you to move forward when Rio tells you to move forward. They don't know or care or have any reason to anticipate the fact that you're doing a waiver. It's a different part of immigration. So if Rio doesn't know that you're doing a waiver, they're going to keep driving you to do other stuff you're supposed to do. So if they give you contact information to reach out to them, you might need to tell them that. Say, hey, Rio, I can't move forward because I'm still waiting on my waiver. So, blah, blah, blah. So get with them, reach out to them, call the numbers. You need to tell them that you're waiting on your waiver, because otherwise what's going to happen? Immigration keeps moving. They don't wait for anyone. So if you don't do it the right way, most people don't know how to do it because this is not what they do in life. If you don't inform them that you're working and waiting on a different part of immigration, then after that year mark, they're going to close your case. and they're going to make you refile all of your stuff and your filing fees, and it's kind of start from scratch in a way. So you need to reach out to them and inform them that you're waiting for the Nebraska Service Center to make a decision on your waiver request. Okay. Okay, so let me go here. We're looking at UL. You're from Ghana. Your case is an IR1, and my priority date is the 15th of August of 22, and DQ, documentarily qualified, 26 October of 23. And I haven't gotten my visa interview appointment yet. So please, how long should I wait? Well, you should wait for as long as it takes. I mean, that's the easy answer. Your real question is, how long should I wait before I raise hell with immigration? Okay. So again, yeah, I mean, very common questions. How long do you wait? How long do you wait? Again, it really comes down to whether you have a direct line of communication with immigration. Never hesitate when reaching out to them and forcing the government to do the job that they are obligated to do by the executive branch. Biden's office, right? Biden's people are doing this. So get in touch with Biden's people and tell them to do their jobs, okay? Contact them and say, hey, Biden's still the president, guys, okay? Something may change soon, but he's still the president, and you're obligated to process Biden's request, right? His administration. So reach out to them, rattle their chains, and make sure that you pressure them, because it's the government's job. I don't care who the president is. It's the government's job to process things in an efficient manner. If they can't do it, you might have to do some other things to pressure them in a different way. But you can always reach out to them and give them a call. It's frustrating to no end, but you got to do it. If that means you're on the phone for 45 minutes, you got to do it, okay? So again, Biden has done a really good job for a lot of people, right? While he's doing a good job, while he's still the president, there's things that his administration has a ton of interest in making sure it gets done right. Why? Because the next president is either Kamala Harris, vice president, or it's President Trump. Okay? There's an interest that the Biden administration has in making sure that things are processed efficiently, because I wouldn't want to be the president who years from now people go, oh man, his administration just screwed up so much. No. So he and his administration have more interest now than before to make sure that things are processed efficiently. So you can help them along by reaching out to them and asking them what you can do to make sure that they are doing the job they're supposed to do. Okay, they're mandated by Congress to do. Okay, so yes, so that's the deal. Okay, so VIP English RJ. The real concept was the one who told you almost 3 years ago to file a waiver. Okay, that's great. But the thing is, your responsibility is to make sure that they are tracking that. They may have told you to do it. They may have told you, I don't know, they may have told you a great many things. It doesn't mean that you can go on autopilot, right? You still are obligated to make sure that your case moves forward. Don't trust the government. I've never trusted the government. I don't care if it's local. I don't care if it's national, state. You don't trust the government or any bureaucracy because they don't care. They're there to do a job, and they don't care if it gets done. They're just going through the motions. So your job is to drive them. Whether they shoulda, coulda, woulda known, it's still your job because it is your life. Okay, that's just the reality of how this works. Okay, so hold their feet to the fire is what I'm saying. And again, I'm not trying to get political here, people. Okay, I don't have a problem with Biden. His administration has had a freaking hard job over the last 3+ years. A lot of this stuff, I've been cranky over the last few years because so many problems have come up. But doesn't mean that Biden's the one who created these problems. His administration is trying to resolve them, and they're crappy sometimes and they're good other times. So that's all I'm trying to say here. The bottom line is your responsibility is to drive your case, whether you do it yourself, whether you hire an attorney, okay? It is your responsibility. It's not Biden. It's not anyone within USCIS. It's you, okay? So keep that in mind. So let's see. What other questions do we have here? So yes. So yeah, things get crazy at election time, and that's why I always, if you go back 4 years ago, I was saying the same thing. Don't wait around. Advanced parole, another huge thing that people should be doing. Trump eliminated most advanced paroles before, okay? Then Biden came along and resurrected it. And people are like, oh, we're safe again. You're only safe if you take advantage of these opportunities. So with the election coming again, I don't know who it's going to be, but guess what? It's not Biden. Meaning right now you have a sitting president who's been doing these things and processing these things for people in a very positive way. Take advantage of it. I've gotten a lot of really good approvals, okay? Do it now. Don't wait around. So advanced parole. So naturalization always. I talked about this earlier. And the Biden parole in place for spouses and children of U.S. citizens. Serious. Do not kick yourself in the future for not taking advantage of that. We're helping people right now prepare for this. August 19th. I mean, that's 21 days away. That's not long. So get on it. Don't wait, okay? What else do we have here? I had some other questions people asked earlier. Let me just double check. Some of these are super complicated. So let's see here. Okay. So let me go to the questions that were asked earlier. I don't want to leave these people hanging. Okay. Come on. Okay. This is a good one. Can my girlfriend come here on a tourist visa? And in the first 90 days, we solely plan our wedding, then get married after 90 days. So that question, to a trained legal professional who's done immigration for over a decade, can mean a number of different things, okay? So what this individual is asking me might not be exactly what I'm hearing, okay? Because it sounds like somebody with a fiance visa. I don't know if this person's talking about a fiance visa. I think they're talking about just entering with a tourist visa and trying to jam through in order to get married and to move forward with the process, okay? So people who beware, and I've said this under Trump, under Biden, beware of entering on one type of visa when that is not really what immigration expects you or wants you to do. What do I mean by that? If you're not entering on a fiance visa and you're planning on getting married, you're at risk because technically the fiance visa is the visa you need in order to have the person be in the right legal status while they're going through the process. That's where the 90 days comes in and all that stuff. So if you're not doing that, you might be inadvertently causing problems for yourself. I have a link that I posted. If you have a question similar to this, you need to reach out to me because this is not as cut and dried as it first sounds to the people who ask the questions, okay? Let me go to the next question, okay? What if the interviewing office never gave me a 652 and just sent me home, tell me that if they need something else, they will get back to me? Is the officer required to give me this 652? Had a combo interview with both 751 and N400. Okay. So yes, the answer is yes. If you went to your interview, you went to your local field office, and they told you all this stuff, and they said, hey, you need to do this or that or the other, and they didn't give you the document that told you what you're supposed to do, that's a big problem. And I got to say, I've had many clients over the last several years, do the math, that this sort of thing happened. It was botched by the administration, by USCIS. They didn't do what they're supposed to. They never gave this stuff to people. And then all of a sudden, you couldn't comply with it. It created major problems. So people in this situation, you should worry if you weren't given the documentation that the agent told you verbally. It's easy for the government to tell you something verbally if they think that you're going to blow away, and then they don't ever have to worry about it. So it's a bureaucratic trick or a bureaucratic oversight. Either way, it's not good for you. That definitely is not good. Okay. So this is very common. Immigration asking for the same documents to upload online. Again, similar questions. How long does it take immigration to do their job? I don't know, but if you have questions about it, reach out to them directly, because we need to force immigration to do their jobs and to be accountable to people. Okay. Let me just look at this quick. I know we're out of time, but I want to look at a few more questions here. Okay. This is an interesting question. This is related to the information that the Trump administration has put out there about graduates. Okay, people in school that have gone to the university or gotten an advanced degree, are they going to be able to qualify for certain types of benefits? Lots of my Indian clients fit this bill, because a lot of people from India work their tails off and get really good educations. And this opportunity, if Trump is elected, this will come along. Okay. I don't doubt that it will. We have no information about it because Trump is just a candidate, right? Candidate for president. He has not released any additional information about it. So I think it will happen in the future if he's elected, but who knows what's going to happen with the election. Okay. Let me look at this real quick. Okay. So this is Julie Nay. I was asking if the joint sponsor has been used because the main sponsor is not working at all. How many 864 should be filed? Is it both of them or one for the co-sponsor? Okay. So that is a very technical question. If you're doing this all yourself, I empathize with you because it is darn confusing. Okay. If you've had an attorney, you need to make your attorney do it for you. I'm assuming, since you're asking me, another attorney, that you don't have an attorney. So the thing is, it depends on who the sponsors are. There are multiple documents that need to be filed the right way. If it's not filed the right way, it will be rejected. And then you're just going to go through the song and dance, request for evidence, notice of an intent to deny, and all that sort of stuff. So co-sponsor is different from the main sponsor. So absolutely. For every sponsor you have, they sign an application and fill out all their information, because what they're saying to the government is, you can rely on me because I sign my name at the bottom of this application that I am vouching for this person, and I will support that person with my dollars in order to help them immigrate to the United States, or help them help somebody immigrate to the United States. So that individual, the only way for them to make that promise to the government is by signing their own application. So there's your answer. Okay. So again, I'm having tons of fun tonight. Okay. I'm going to look to see if there's anything that I can quickly answer. Again, we are over our time. So when I get to this phase of the night, I tell people to ask your questions early next week. Join me next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is Detroit time, for another Immigration Live with Lee. Have your questions ready so that I can answer them, because if you didn't get them answered today, I can answer them if you ask them early enough in the program next Monday. Otherwise, click on the link that I posted above if you need to schedule something to talk to me directly so I can help you resolve your issues before next week. Thank you for everyone who joined us. I really appreciate it sincerely. Have a wonderful night, and we will see you next Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.